Over the years, we've had many different live-action adaptations of Superman, with many of these stories also depicting the Man of Steel in the role of a father. In this video, we'll talk about 10 different sons of Superman, as seen in live-action media. First are the twin brothers Jonathan and Jordan Kent, as seen in the Superman and Lois TV show. They are Clark's biological sons with Lois, so they inherited all of Superman's powers such as super strength, super speed, flight, heat vision, frost breath, super senses, etc. Initially, Jordan was the only one to exhibit powers and took on the role of Superboy, aka the Smallville Samaritan. The black suit and goggles he wore were inspired by Clark's first outfit in the comic series Superman, American Alien. The suit would later be passed on to John, who took over Superboy duties for a while. In the epilogue of the series finale, we get to see the twins with new suits created with Kryptonian technology, both inspired by the suits worn by Superboy in the comics. Although it's a totally different Superboy named Connor Kent, who we'll talk about later, as he's also been depicted a couple of times in live action, the twins also had doppelgangers from another universe known as the Inverse World, where Bizarro Superman's family lived in the spotlight as celebrities instead of hiding their identities. Because everything here is reversed, John was the one to first get his powers instead of Jordan, and assumed the identity of Superboy. His powers are also reversed in several ways, such as having fire breath and Arctic vision, plus kryptonite makes him stronger. And like his otherworld counterpart, John's suit is also based on Superboy Connor Kent's first suit in the comics, including a leather jacket. Next, we'll talk about Jason White, the super son from 2006's Superman Returns. Despite being Clark's biological son with Lois Lane, Jason takes on the family name of his stepfather, as his true parentage was initially ambiguous. He was seen as an asthmatic and fragile child, but suddenly manifested super strength in order to save his mother. And despite never returning to the screen again, Jason was name-dropped by his father during CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths. Next is the Superboy from Titans, who is Connor Kent. He was a clone created by Cadmus Labs alongside Krypto the Superdog. And while half of his DNA came from Superman, the other half came from Lex Luthor, making both of them his parents. Connor's usual outfit is a comic-accurate simple black tee with Superman symbol, although he has changed his style twice on the show, temporarily, while embracing the dark side. Another fun fact is that his name, Connor, actually came from a random security guard's uniform that he took while escaping Cadmus Labs shortly after being created. Next, we have an earlier version of Connor Kent Superboy, seen in the TV series Smallville. Similar to the comics, this version is also a hybrid clone of Clark Kent and Lex Luthor, created by Cadmus Labs. Here, the origin of his name came from the acronym CNR, which stands for Cognitional Neuroplastic Replicant. But Connor isn't the only offspring of Tom Welling's Superman, as it was revealed that years later, Clark would go on to have daughters with Lois Lane, supposedly via traditional procreation methods this time. Next, we have the first-ever live-action Superman clone, Nuclear Man, as seen in Superman 4, starring the late Christopher Reeve. Also created by Lex Luthor, this clone was made from a strand of Superman's hair that was thrown into the sun alongside a nuclear missile. For some reason, it resulted in a Superman-like being with blonde hair whose body also generates heat and electricity. Nuclear in nature, he required constant exposure to radiation to remain active. Next, we'll talk about Dean Cain's Superman from the 90s Lois and Clark TV show, who sort of became a father in 3 separate, very complicated occasions. In the series finale, a Kryptonian baby was left behind for Lois and Clark to adopt. Given the child's heritage, he has the potential to grow up into a superboy. And earlier in Season 3, a boy with super strength named Jesse was claimed by his mother to be born from her relationship with Superman. It was later revealed that he was just a regular human boy who had actually absorbed some of Superman's powers from an accident involving a lightning strike. But Superman's actual biological offspring from the series was shown in Season 1, where we had Vatman, a genetic clone of Superman created by Lex Luthor.
Who are you? I don't want to talk. You're my enemy.
Now let's talk about the DCEU, specifically the version envisioned by Zack Snyder. In his cut of the Justice League movie, a pregnancy test is shown in Lois Lane's apartment, and towards the end of the movie, she is shown carrying a baby basket, with Bruce Wayne personally congratulating Clark on the baby's arrival.
Congratulations, by the way.
In the Nightmare Future timeline, we find out that Darkseid would kill Lois Lane alongside her unborn child, inside the Batcave. The incident would drive Superman mad, making him succumb to Darkseid's control, and even blaming Batman for his failure to protect his family. Another interesting DCEU character we'd like to mention is Kara Zor-El, or Supergirl, seen in the Flash movie. Despite being the cousin of Superman, her appearance was actually modeled after Lara Lane Kent, the daughter of Superman in the Injustice comics. Apart from Superman, many other members of the Justice League have also had children in live-action DC movies and TV shows, such as Aquaman, Batman, Flash, and Martian Manhunter. We might make a future video about this in more detail. And with James Gunn's upcoming DCU featuring a new Superman, as well as the already confirmed appearance of several members of his family, such as Lois Lane and Krypto the Superdog, we might get another child of Superman somewhere along the line. If you liked this video, be sure to check out the other videos about DC and Marvel superheroes on our channel. Thanks for watching.